Hi, my name is Daisy. I'm a Scout leader from Birmingham. Now this video covers key skills and tips for planning and using gas safely on your scouting adventures. Now that could be anything from a camp to a hike. When using gas cylinders, we need to remember to keep them away from any heat source, use them in a well-ventilated area and make sure they're stood up in a stable position. So if you have instruction manuals for your equipment, please make sure that you've read and understood them. Also make sure that you check your gas regulators. Different cylinders do have different regulators. Make sure the cylinder is large enough for your requirements, but please be sensible. So all of us leaders need a good cup of tea, and to make sure that we're safe, we set the burner up as far away from the tent edges as possible, and we also make sure that it's on a heat-resistant surface. So when cooking, make sure you use a really well-ventilated space. An event shelter like this is a really good example. You also need to remember that gas is heavier than air and it does sink. Now tents with skirts will trap this, and that means that it becomes a hazard. So there is no standard length of hose that we use. You just have to cut it to the right size to make sure that your gas cylinder is outside in a ventilated area. You also have to make sure that your hose is up to the British standard that we use. So if you do have to extinguish a gas fire, make sure you only use a carbon dioxide or a powder-based fire extinguisher. So in the event of a fire, make sure you evacuate everyone, at least 100 metres if possible. Only if it's safe to do so should you disconnect the cylinders and take it out of the fire area. Make sure if you don't know how long the fire's been burning for, you just leave it well alone. So when transporting gas, make sure it's in a stable and upright position in your vehicle. And also make sure you have the sticker on the side to show everyone else that you're carrying gas. It's also wise to try and make sure that you are taking your passengers and gas in two separate vehicles. Carbon monoxide is a highly poisonous gas. You can't see it, taste it or smell it, and it can kill quickly without warning. Make sure you don't cook in spaces that are small and poorly ventilated or where there are people sleeping. And it's always worthwhile considering a carbon monoxide alarm as an extra precaution. And here are the key points of the video. If you have instructions for your equipment, please make sure you have read and understood them. All hoses should meet the British safety standard BS 3212. If possible, use gas in the open. If not, keep doors and ventilation meshes open at all times. If there's a fire, call the fire brigade and move all people from the area. If you do not know how long the cylinder has been burning for, leave it well alone. Only use a powder or CO2 fire extinguisher. Carbon monoxide is a highly poisonous gas. You can't smell it, taste it or see it, and it can kill quickly. Symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning include those similar to food poisoning or the flu. Safety is key for a successful, enjoyable Scout event. Don't underestimate your risk assessments and make sure they include things like travel. It's always worthwhile having a simple checklist so everyone else can do these checks too. It's also worthwhile checking all of your equipment at the beginning of your events and also at the beginning of the season. If you struggle with anything in this video, make sure you contact a competent person. If there isn't anyone in your district or county, there's a wealth of information on the Scout website.